Hi, this is Simon from Crewbrain, and today I'll show you Crewbee, our new assistant for and in Crewbrain. Unlike our current support assistant, Crewbee can also act on your behalf. So it can not only answer your questions regarding Crewbrain, but it can also do things such as creating jobs, amend base data, for example, and much, much more. So firstly, where can you find Crewbee? You can find Crewbee in several places in Crewbrain, for example, under the SPI icon up here in the calendar view. Same is for jobs or projects, for example, you have it in the upper bar. And of course a floating icon in the lower right corner, right here. If this floating icon doesn't float your boat by any chance, you can remove it just by clicking the X. And it will ask you if you want to remove it for 5 minutes, so temporarily or even permanently if you want that. Okay, let's start out with Crewbee. Crewbee will always be in knowledge mode by default. Knowledge mode is free. Knowledge mode will remain free, just like our AI assistant, our legacy AI assistant in the help section. You could, for example, start out with asking about travel expenses. How can I create a travel expense? And Crewbee will have a look in the documentation and its own knowledge base, and then let you know how you can create a travel expense. If there's a wiki link or a YouTube video, it will also show you the link, for example, right here, and the tutorial video if we have one. Okay, let's suppose I had unchecked solo jobs and was wondering where my solo jobs went in the calendar. I can also ask Crewbee that. Why can I not see any solo jobs in the calendar? Crewbee has the ability to look at your current view in Crewbrain. It just asks you. I'll click on allow, and Crewbee already has an inkling, and it found it. I have not checked solo jobs right here. Crewbee can also show you things like this right here. So it marks the box and it has a floating bee icon right here. The new knowledge mode can also accept image inputs. For example, let's suppose I was wondering what customize month view does. What does this do? I'll just attach the screenshot and ask Crewbee. Crewbee will take a look at the image. It will look up what it actually does. And you see, for example, the correct answer that there are several display options such as preview on mouse over in this menu. If at any moment in time Crewbee does not help you or Crewbee cannot answer your question, you're free to send us a ticket. Click on the mail icon. Add an optional note to your question and the Crewbrain support team will have a look at your request. Let's continue with one of the other modes. Auto mode tries to route your request to the cheapest model for your request, depending on the complexity of your request. So I'll choose auto mode, and you'll see I'm in a completely separate chat. So knowledge and the modes up here are completely separate from each other, and these are the paid modes, and this is a free mode. As you can see, the button layout is slightly different in all the other modes except knowledge mode. We have an attachment icon as well. This attachment icon does not only take photos, but also emails, for example, or Excel files. And we have a voice input icon. Let's use the voice input, for example, with Crewbrain will be at LDI in Vegas this year. Please research when this will take place and create a job for it. Crewbee doesn't know when LDI is, thus it needs to search the web. I'll click on allow. It has a look around the system if the Vegas location is already in our system. And it found out no, so it asks me if I want to create it. Yes, I do. And it finally asks me if I want to create the job for the trade fair. Let's see, so it has the dates and it has created the job in December. Let's have a look. We cannot see it yet, but this is because I have unchecked solo jobs before. And there it is. Okay, everything seems about right. Then let's just click on Crewbee here up in the job itself. you'll see that if you open Kruby within a job or project, for example, it has a context, meaning it knows where you are in KruBrain exactly, and you can use this as input. Let's say I need 3 people for this job. Please book 3 available people for this job. No category, please. And Kruby will be able to do bookings, for example, of people or request people, for example, for freelancers. So it found me 3 people. Let's click on allow. And Kruby asks if it may reload the page. I'll click on deny right now. Okay. And there we have it. 3 people have been booked for this job. Kruby does not select people it books for jobs, for example, or requests for jobs. Rather, it's a random selection by our system, so nobody is disadvantaged or advantaged. I'll reload this job right now, and we have 3 people booked in the job. Another thing Kruby can do is create a briefing document, for example, or any kind of PDF document. If you need it, I'll ask it to please create a briefing doc for this job. It gets all the necessary information and then creates me a PDF document. Let's have a look. Great. We have a document with a short briefing and information about the venue and the job itself. Something you should take a note of is please always check times exactly. Kruby is usually using the right time zone and times, but in some cases it might choose the wrong time zone, especially if you work across multiple time zones. Please just check this is correct for your use case. Kruby is not only practical for single actions like these, but also for bulk actions. So let's suppose I had multiple employees who don't have a zip code in their base data. I can click on the attachment icon right here, select a zip code Excel sheet, and ask Kruby to add this to the employee base data. Please add the zip codes to the employees in the table. And this is one of the best ways to use Kruby for anything you need to do in bulk, but don't want to do manually one by one. So it found the people in this spreadsheet are Jana Maker, for example, or Tobin. I will click on allow. And it has added the zip codes to the employees. Let's just jump into one right now, and we'll see that the zip code is in the base data. So if you have a staff questionnaire on paper and have that scanned in or photographed in, Kruby can actually create these employees in your system for you. Kruby can also get larger data queries for you. Let's say, for example, I wanted to know who doesn't have a t-shirt size in their profile. I can ask Kruby that. For larger data queries, Kruby might ask your permission. I'll click on allow. Okay. As you can see right here from the time, larger data queries might take their time, so this took about over a minute. But Kruby came back with all the people who have shirt sizes and who don't have shirt sizes for me. It also asks you if you want to have this as a list, as Kruby can create you an Excel file if you need that. And it also asks you a follow-up question if, for example, you wanted to add shirt sizes to these people. As this has been helpful for me, I will click on helpful. Another thing you can do with Kruby is if you, for example, have a customer email you and you don't have the customer in KruBrain already, Kruby can create the customer for you just via that email. I'll click on the attach icon as well, add that email of Nordlicht Eventtechnik customer, and ask Kruby to please create the customer from the attached email. Kruby, of course, does a duplicate check, so the customer doesn't exist in the system already. And it asks me if I want to create the customer, which I'll allow. And Kruby detected that Lena emailed me and asks me if I want to add her as a contact person. I will allow. Okay, so it has supposedly created the customer. I'll just click on here to jump right into the customer. And here we have the customer with a short name, an appropriate short name, and some notes from the email, including the contact person's email. It also noted that the email was about an open air series of events, and it asks me if I want to set up the project or job for this concert series. So Kruby always tries to be as helpful as possible, even asking me follow-up questions depending on the data it has and the questions or tasks it has done for you. So that's just been a few use cases for Kruby, and I'm sure there's loads more. I'm very excited for you to try Kruby out and give us some feedback. You can always send us an email to support@krubrain.com or ask Kruby to send you a ticket to KruBrain Support. Thanks for watching.